Hello and welcome. I'm Pheasant. Today I'm going to be doing something a bit different, and there is a game of Spirit Island going on in the background. I will be playing that, but the main thing I want to do is talk about Spirit Island and politics. So I'm probably not going to talk about the game, though I will be playing it. And I have deliberately picked Ocean England 6 because it's an interesting encounter. It's almost a casual game for me, but that's not what I am talking about particularly. So, politics and Spirit Island. And I'm going to start off by saying I typically do not talk about politics at all on the channel, and that is a conscious decision. I figure that those of us that care about politics hear about it plenty in our real lives, in our real worries and concerns, and so I just don't bring it up. I think that tends to be fine. But so if this video is aggravating for you, please feel free to ignore it. That's what I'm saying. Just ignore it. Ignore it. So that's the first thing. That's why none of the other videos. I think there's a little bit of politics that creeps in on the live streams because they're live and people talk about what's going on in the world. But in my kind of sit down and record deliberately videos, there's very little of that. And that's a conscious choice. But that's different today. Today I'm going to be talking about it directly, and I've made some notes, so if I'm looking down, it's not because I'm looking at the hands that are grasping me to drag me down into hell. I'm just looking at my notes, so I'm going to look at them now. Okay, so Spirit Island and implicit politics. So for me, Spirit Island is probably one of the most deliberately political games there is. I mean, it's literally designed as a kind of a reaction to Catan and the idea that the land might just be empty. There's no one really there, and if they are there, they don't really matter. And that's the explicit design intent. I don't think you could find a more woke concept for a game than Spirit Island, and I use that term knowing that it's cursed. But in terms of a progressive kind of game that is actually interested in talking about colonialism and stuff like this, there is a topic that I am actually surprisingly qualified to talk about. You might be surprised to know that I actually got a relevant degree in this topic. I studied development studies, which is basically sociology, anthropology, politics, economics, and some kind of aspects of agriculture. Surprisingly well qualified to talk about colonialism. Rare renewing rain pick there. So, despite the surprise, I kind of know more about colonialism than you might expect. And this game is very much about colonialism, and it's very specifically about settler colonialism, which is actually a particular type. So, kind of what the conquistadors are doing, that's not what this game is. It's not. That was very much a kind of let's just slaughter as many as we can and take their stuff. Whereas settler colonialism is a bit more complicated, and it's less obviously terrible, yet still terrible. If you ask an Indian national about the legacy of British colonialism, you know they will not be thinking, oh great, yeah, we got some trains. You know, millions of people starved as a consequence of Indians not being in control of their own destiny when it came to their economy, and also the colonial project. I mean, I'm not going to just do a full critique of colonialism here, but by taking control of economy and rejigging them to essentially extracting natural resources, often that just absolutely wrecks economies, and you get resource sources, important things like food, water, get neglected for the sake of resource extraction. And pharmacy at the hard way. I can't think through all that. Let's just do a bit of spurning. So colonialism is bad. We know this. This is somewhat cursed. This might be a comfy encounter, but I'm not sure I could talk about colonialism at the same time. But here we are. Here we are. Okay, we're going to be eating some Dahan. With the renewing rain is, I actually wasn't anticipating the blight from the event. I was kind of thinking I'd clean up in here. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. So this game explicitly is an anti-colonial game, and it's even kind of dealing with games like it's kind of even addressing the elephant in the room with games like Settlers more obviously, but even games like Arnak that are kind of like, they're not really you're not really going somewhere and doing anything particularly destructive to the environment. You're just kind of scouting around, as far as I can remember. Actually, getting a major here, but I'm not going to. Ooh. Ooh. So that's the first thing. It's explicitly a political game, and explicitly a very political game. And there's a lot of games that have implicit politics, but this has explicit politics, even in the rule book, talking about things like plastic pieces versus wooden pieces. With the Dahan being the kind of the mostly good guys, and the invaders being the obvious bad guys. They're made of plastic, even down to the point of the invaders are white, and how there's often a bias in board games where everything dark is evil, everything light is good. So this is a deeply, deeply political game, and it's always been surprising to me how little that is acknowledged, or ever was acknowledged, in the Spirit Island community. And it's what's really fascinating to me is that it was just like, I think it was just, there was no need to talk about it. We all knew we were playing an anti-colonial game. I think some people didn't really think about it. They just enjoyed it as a game, which is also fine. And like, why get into it? It's doing a little bit of strategizing here. Foolish idea to play a game and talk about politics at the same time. But here we are. If not for foolish ideas, I'll look at my notes. So another thing to look at is, like, so anyone that's kind of, you do get a lot of people that just don't have any media literacy. The type of people that will accuse Rage Against the Machine of going woke, when even the most cursory bit of research will tell you that these are deeply political people and have been forever. But a lot of these people are literally counterfactual. So if we actually just look at who the creator is, Eric R. Royce, you can just go to his Blue Sky and you can see that it's pro trans rights, pro BLM, and in this kind of current political environment, that is you are very clearly in the progressive camp, but not even just in the easy progressive camp. A lot of people are scared to show any support for trans people because they are pathetic. Certainly the case in the UK. You can get people being very vocal about a lot of kind of progressive things. When it comes to trans stuff, they get all shy and weird. But not the creator of Spirit Island. They're not going for any kind of pretend neutrality in any of this. They are... I'm cursing this disease right here. I could kind of do with some more food. I'm just going to have a quick interlude thinking about this game. We've got a blight here. We're going to keep the island healthy for a turn. A town building here. Renewing Rain. Could Renewing Rain next turn to clean up this blight and eat a city, but could make a sacred site in this sands for the rain, clean up this blight, keep the island healthy for a little bit longer. I'm not happy that our London's in here though, or potentially in here if we eat too greedily from here. Brief interlude. So do I want to not eat the city here deliberately? It's going to be an escalation build. I'll be eating in the slow phase, so there'll be 2 builds in here probably. Taking us up to 4. If I eat a town and a city, it's down to 2 again, which is fine. Okay. So we can eat the city here. And maybe if we go gift, we can grab a major, because we're a little bit ahead of schedule. An odd turn, otherwise I guess I'll just use call to just get the fear. Just get the fear going. See, I can't resist talking about Spirit Island. I guess that's reasonable. So we're renewing rain next turn. Probably rain swallowed, I guess, depending on the explore. Grasping Tide is not going to have anything to do next turn, so it's kind of tempting to... Oh no, we want to eat a city, so let's just Tidal Boon ourselves. Okay. Alright. So, back to my little list down here. So yeah, so the game is woke, about a very woke topic. The designer is very clearly and proudly progressive. Even to the point of wanting to address issues of agency for the Dahan. The idea that they're not just kind of that they are doing their own thing. They're not just a kind of a token to be played with. Oh God, why is this game so interesting? I can't talk about politics at the same time. It's outrageous. So that's like my kind of opening guff. The game is inherently, implicitly, and designed to be political. So what's happened with Spirit Island? Well, it's almost like we knew it was political, or we just played the game, and then politics kind of shoe up, to use a Norfolk expression. So it showed up in the Spirit Island community, the most overt and direct way being with the Trump tariffs basically killing greater than games. Let's think about this event. Do we want to seek to control? I'm kind of keen to hang on to this renewing rain. We could maybe burn one of these two. Could do that. There's the double build in here, so it's going to be City, Drown, Tidal Boon. Oh, no Tidal Boon push. That was just to get the element and some energy. Yeah, I think maybe we could forget Swallow. Oh, except we discard all cards for hand. Yeah, let's not do that. Sorry, this is a slightly newer to me event, so I'm a little bit less familiar with it. So let's just lose a presence. And... oh, we do get a town to eat. How marvellous. How marvellous. So politics arrived in the Spirit Island world with the Trump tariffs. So tariffs are absolutely ridiculous. Oh, we can prevent the city build here as well. Well, that's marvellous. Let's just bring this in. So the Trump tariffs basically kill greater than games, because if you are manufacturing, and a lot of the wider board game industry give them problems, if you are manufacturing in China, which is where most board games are being manufactured now, and you have to worry about all these uncertainties, it's just, it killed greater than games. And so at this point, there was it's almost like politics came to the Spirit Island community, which is, let's be real, I'm only ever been on the fringes of the community. This is largely by choice. Just realised I have no presence in there. That is still fine. It's fine. It'll give me plenty to eat on a future turn. And this is unambiguously London for us. So that's mainly due to, let's be real, it's mainly due to autism reasons. I can't really handle big kind of group chat environments without my brain just exploding, Discord being the one. So I'm on the fringes for that reason. But the destruction of greater than games as a direct consequence of this tariff nonsense then led to the elephant in the room in the community. We're talking about politics in Spirit Island, which is the whole Red revenge thing. So let's talk a little bit about Red. So Red's like enthusiasm and dedication to Spirit Island is frankly amazing, and just the sheer energy that Red brought to Spirit Island, so just like, and after playing an amount of Spirit Island that is frankly beyond beyond the level of most kind of regular, just the sheer volume of games. We must be talking tens of thousands of games. You know, it's a lot more than most. I'm just going to stay on Element here, and you know, a great, you know, making really cool videos that were interesting to practically everyone. Yeah, and just that enthusiasm just came through in the way that he talked about the game. So it was really weird when it first became apparent that that Red literally kind of, I'd say, that one of the top fans of the game, literally involved in the design of the latest expansion of this, was like pro-Trump, right? So I know that for some people that aren't really politically minded, the idea that that could be something that sits well with Spirit Island might seem might be that could be at odds. The thing is that even then, even before the Trumpstein files, even before it became fairly widely apparent that this was a really super horrible guy, we knew back then that Trump was a misogynist. We knew that just from the words that would come out of Trump's mouth. We also knew that he was happy to cozy up to all sorts of fascists. And so even that was even back then. So it was one of those things where I thought, what the hell? Why would someone that was so deeply a part of the community of probably the most woke game on the planet be so kind of openly a fan of, you know, this is just a terrible person. I think we go for a major here. I think we go for a major. And just the misogyny alone, just someone that thinks it's okay to just grab people by their genitals, all that creepy stuff to do with Epstein, to, you know, like all that, you know, there's more mentions of Trump in the Epstein files than Epstein almost. It's, you know, this is like, and now that it just pretends that this is you know, like this is a rancid person. So, you know, naturally a lot of people in the Spirit Island community would have been a bit like, oh, that's a bit grim. Oh, it's, you know, like, I don't know, like, oh, let's say you're just really into anything, and then someone's just, oh yeah, like, you know, I'm really into Mussolini. Oh, that's that, you know. And for me personally, I think when I learned that Red was not only a Trump fan but also a dentist, I was like, I don't want anything to do with this guy. But I remember that happening, but then that just kind of faded away, and I think a lot of us just quietly didn't watch as much Red content, apart from in the areas where Red was clearly the authority on something, and it was like, oh, okay, fine. But it really kind of put me off the whole being a cheerleader for Red, or like just wanting to recommend Red's videos to anyone or something, you know. Yeah, we look at a major. So that was that whole kind of first thing, but then it actually escalated after ICE murdered someone whose name I actually can't remember because I'm terrible and I live in Thailand, like you would say. That's probably I'm going to lose some political points. I think her name was good. And then just kind of just made light of this and all this stuff. It's like, and so as a consequence, Red, so probably most of you know this better than I do, Red got kind of thrown out of the Spirit Island Discord. And so for me, it's one of those things where, like, I know that some people are all like, people can say they want free speech and all this. That whole like free speech at all costs, oh no, I've been cancelled, has been such a shoddy takeover and radicalization of US politics. You can see it from the likes of Joseph Rojan and his kind of going from being a kind of hippie kind of dude to just having people on that are FBI, CIA, these people that are literally in the Epstein files, but you won't talk about it with them. You know, it's like this kind of, God, it's just kind of rank what's happening. But the key thing is, okay, I'm getting a bit, there's so much to talk about that I don't normally talk about in these videos. So Red gets thrown out of Discord, and I just want to say I think that is absolutely the right thing to do, and I'm going to actually bring in some subculture history to talk about this. Have you in the UK? We used to have a subculture called skinheads, right? And it actually originated when the Windrush generation, which is Caribbeans, came to the UK because there was a labour shortage in the UK in the 50s and 60s, I think. Anyway, a load of Caribbeans came and they brought their music and their culture with them. And we had this kind of the skinhead culture arose then, which was a mix of Caribbeans and mostly and kind of white local English people. The cultures just kind of jammed together. Everyone shaved their head, listened to ska music, reggae music, but it did get co-opted, right? Basically it got co-opted by literal fascists, and which is why a lot of people even to this day think of skinheads. They don't think of a kind of a kind of a counterculture of Caribbeans that listen to ska and dance around. They think of literal Nazis, and so I think it's really great that the people of that Discord just threw Red out, because once you start tolerating Nazis, they will want to take over. Like there's no such thing as being balanced with people that are pro-fascist. Now, I would not be surprised if Red has nuanced ideas about things beyond supporting Trump and think it's hilarious when people get killed for protesting injustice. But if you let these fucking people hang around, they will just gradually normalize this kind of violence against people, and that is not what you want. You know, you don't want a world where people think of the Spirit Island community like, oh, that bunch of fascists, like what happened to Skinhead. While I'm also on the note of skins, there are still skins that are not fascists, and it actually can be a bit hard to tell them apart. Most skins that are committed to not being fascist fucks have they'd have a few symbols on them. The most obvious ones being Sharp, which is skinheads against racial prejudice, or Rash, which is red and anarchist skinheads. So, like, you know, it might help you. Those skins are probably okay, but yeah, that, like, you know, this is a whereas within the punk movement, although boneheads, aka Nazi punks, do exist, they were ejected by force and continue to be ejected by force from most punk communities. And that's why if you see a punk, you don't assume they're a Nazi. So it's really important to accept the intolerance paradox. If you tolerate people that are literally pro the most authoritarian, nasty politics, you're not doing any favors to the people that have slightly different ideas about how you run the world. While we're talking about politics, I think it's also, I like to know what people's politics are, and I know that I've kind of waited 23 minutes in. I'm what you call an anarchist without adjectives. You can just Google roughly what we believe, but just so you kind of know where I'm coming from. And maybe that will dispel people saying, well, why if the Democrat Party's so good? Not interested. Not interested in talking about that. Anyway, God, this is it's quite hard to do at the same time. So yeah, I've put in my notes. What about finding out Spirit Island is woke puts you off? Frankly, if that's the case, if the idea that this game is inherently kind of progressive, anti-colonialism puts you off, frankly, just get in the sea. That's my feeling. You know, the kind of people that are spreading this kind of idea are some of those brain broken, brain rotten shittifiers of life on this planet. And I don't care about your feelings, okay? I just don't care. Just get in the sea. Get here into this sea, in the sea here. Get in there. Give me energy. I've delayed thinking about this collection of majors for too long. I'm going to go think about these majors. Now, spilling bitterness into the fascists of the earth is tempting, because I do like adding some blight. And this is one of the newer powers, so like I can't just autopilot. I autopilot it quite as well as I used to. I do have to add blight to do it, But I've already got blighted adjacencies here. I could use it in... Could I use it in this land? I do have the presence push. So I could actually use it in here. And I would be blighting... Can I get threshold? I've only got 2 fire. 1 damage to each invader is a little bit irrelevant this time, but I could maybe build towards... Oof, spill how incredibly relevant that spill bitterness into the earth is here. I think I've actually run out of notes there, and as it's not really a live stream, I can't just ask ask people to make up for a lack of thought process. I'm probably going to close out by thinking about the game mainly. If you've had yeah, probably other things will come up incidentally, and I'll just try and beat England 6 here. Do my penance for actually being English. So this I could do a bunch of damage in here. I would be blighting the island. It does have water earth, but then I'm going to be running out of stuff to drown really quickly, especially if I actually destroy these. It's a very expensive way to just blight the island. So yeah, probably forget that. Oh god, why am I ignoring this? I could maybe draft towards getting the threshold, which should be a nice fear boost. And yeah, this is an action skip that I can even use this turn. Oh, okay, fine. I just thought spill bitterness would be thematic, you know. Okay, so I think we lose Swallow here. I think you almost always lose Swallow. That's just the reality of it. Almost like I'm going to lose subscribers for talking about politics. This isn't going to be a habit, and if I do talk about politics in future, I will clearly label those videos. Because I like Spirit Island mostly just being a sanctuary from all this nonsense that's going on. Yeah, so don't worry, I'm not planning on this if I do any other similar videos, I will make it clear. So I guess we're probably just spamming everything out just to clean things up. Yeah. Oh, actually, I could actually focus more on the game now. Wow, it's nice to have run out of notes. But yeah, the whole the whole kind of media literacy thing is frankly so baffling. Of imagine sincerely being a kind of conservative type person and listening to bands like Rage Against the Machine and thinking that was made for you. I can understand why you might not realize it was political, right? But if you're literally someone, but then to assume it was pro your politics, I don't know, that's odd. I mean, I didn't really realize Rage was political until I was an adult. When I was a teenager, I had no idea. But I have a kind of autism that means that my brain expands in very small circles. I can just not know about a whole subject and just be completely unaware. That fact. Okay. Do we get a 3 to harm? So... I don't know how this game's gonna go. I don't know. It might go. Let's just strife the city. Strife in a land with blight, huh? It's everywhere. I think strifing city is almost always just the right pick if you're kind of unsure. If you are unsure. Yeah, so yeah, please do subscribe if you want to encourage me to keep making YouTube videos. And also if you have kind of counterpoints for what I've said in this video, I mean, feel free. Or just I may have made factual mistakes, that's entirely possible. I'm interested to hear, but I'm also just going to be really clear. I have no interest in debating people in bad faith. I had someone comment on one of my videos because I referred to Thunderspeaker as they. Oh, no, I can't remove blight from there. Okay, that's a mistake. I should have been removing that blight from there. Never mind. So I'm not really interested in kind of bad faith debate. But if you have something, actually, you're kind of interested to talk about in this topic, feel free to comment down below, and I'll probably just reply in the comments, unless there's so many comments that I could just make another similar video. But we've got a Cascade here. It's only a 3 damage Ravage with 1 Fear card. We could just be sleeping in there. We sleep in there. Yeah, let's just, rather than overthinking it, let's just look at the draft first. I think the day of getting lots and lots of drowns might be at an end. We're at 7 powers, so I think I probably just want to grab a minor power and build towards having all 5 plays. Maybe I'll grab another major next turn. Ooh, it's okay, wins. I mean, a push is potentially quite interesting. We didn't get a nice defend. Could do a bit more blight cleanup. I'd rather just be generating lots of fear, though. Let's be real. What about thresholding this? Let's moon, air, animal. Is Gold's Allure relevant? Yeah. If it gets the animal, we could play call for another moon and maybe gift. The threshold would remove. Yeah, the threshold is just not worth pursuing. But yeah, it was always so baffling to me that the Spirit Island community was so kind of apolitical. But I think it was mainly just, it was nice to have a break from thinking about all that stuff as we sit on the precipice of just frankly awful things happening. I'm not actually, even though I have been talking politics, I'm not going to go into the absolute grimness of what's happening right now. As where are we? 9th of March, 2026. Gonna go there. But I am gonna try and savage England. Don't know. So we don't care about this sleep threshold, so I'm gonna try and stop thinking about it. Gracious Growth could be okay. I mean, maybe just think about something for the next major that I grab. They are gonna build a second city here, so maybe this turn I want to try and get the top tier. But if I use sleep, then I'm definitely not getting the top tier of the innate. Do I care about getting the top 2 of the innate? Actually, I probably don't really care. Okay. I'm struggling to transition into just playing the game now. And I'm going to have to lose this sacred site as well. So yeah, I don't think it's Voracious Growth. I think Gold's Allure could be grabbing people to feed myself, but I don't feel like any of these are particularly great. Oh wait, this has got air on, which can help with this getting the fear, given that... Yeah, and I can move Blight around. Actually, that could be quite useful. So we will not maintain our sacred site there. And I could even just use this to feed a town into my face right now. Right here, right meow. So, given we've got a Blight Cascade Ravage here, I think I will prevent that. Especially as it should be a messy counter. I mean, I won't kill that town, but I might get something out of the fear card. Not really generating enough fear, though. I mean, maybe I kind of prioritize gift just to hopefully find a nice fear minor power. Let's leave the door open for potentially keeping the island healthy for a turn if we get a bit of help. And we have 2 more plays. So I could shovel another town into my face. And how about pounding? So we need a... What are we short? Short water. Could feed with Tidal Boon. I mean, that does really empower going for major powers next turn. And I guess also if a town kind of strays into there somehow. Then we've got Grasping for here next turn. Can't Renewing Rain anyway. Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I think this is okay. It's acceptable. It is acceptable. Yeah, politics in the board game geek space has always been a kind of interesting one. I feel like, to generalize, based on my own experience, I feel like the board game space is typically a progressive environment. But there's always been outliers. I think, there's always been a few kind of more conservative fans to actually use the Wilds token here of board games generally, just kind of nestled in amongst everyone else. We'll take an inland disease, sure. Okay. So we have to move Ardahan now. I am tempted to push into a land that I'm in just for the benefit of... Just for the... Actually, no. We'll go with the principle of just keeping things... I was thinking about having it in with my presence, which might be useful. Which fear card was that? Buildings each deal one less. Okay, so that is going to blight over here, unfortunately. Yeah, it doesn't matter what order I do it in. Okay, back against the wall. Are we doing back against the wall? Oof. Oof. Okay, so typically I don't like this as Ocean, especially solo board Ocean, because you need a bigger blight pool, because you do rare, I do have sleep, so I can actually address most lands on the board apart from this one. So typically you don't really want that. But an extra play and an extra energy could mean that I could be playing 6 cards next turn. I could be playing a major. So no, I won't have 6 cards. Oh, it means I could reclaim. I mean, not there's any great benefits paying 6 cards next turn, potentially. No, it's not worth I mean, let's be real here. We've got a build here. So that's going to be a city. I could get a major that deals with that. I probably won't. If I don't, I am forced to reclaim sleep next turn to address that. The reclaim, though, will force another presence off the board, though, which is, yeah, you don't really want to be going that. I think I have to keep progressing forward. However, replacing the blight card doesn't really guarantee that I'm going to get a much better blight card. The extra energy and play are not super relevant, actually, for me, so I think I'm going to have to replace it. Oh, okay. Okay, that's probably fine. So we've got to add a blight to land adjacent to blight. Let's just have a nice coastal one. And that's kind of what we wanted. A bigger blight pool is better. Okay, some nice explorers to eat. Let's give to power first. What's on our shopping list? None of these things. That is the truth there. Oof. Oof, that's no good. This is probably forget fodder. I suppose if we are actually going to win this so far from the... this could be a losing run. To say I was quite distracted in the first part of the video. Talking about politics is not something I've really done online. much. Despite when I was younger being very, very active in politics, I would say it was my main thing I did in the world. We've also got to be aware here of the build into guaranteed escalation effect here. So that is potentially curtains on this game. Yeah. None of these help with that particular project. I suppose if I was to really try and line it up, I could go with grabbing an Earth card in case we get something like Paralyzing Fright. However, I've also got this to deal with, so can't afford to be placing any more Blight. So maybe Infested Aquifers. I think, yeah, this is all forget fodder. This just has more elements on it. Oh no, guy. Yeah, okay, fine. I forget that I'm literally removing 3 buildings from this land. Oh, silly pheasant. Silly pheasant. Whose idea was it to talk about politics and play Spirit Island at the same time? Who would have such a silly idea as that? Okay, so we're not going to instantly lose to that. That's fine. I guess we've also... Yeah, we'd love to have a good defend power. That would be wonderful, especially given that we've got the coastal land. So we're going to have a high likelihood of coastal land into... Well, guaranteed it's going to be either mountain or sands. So this Ravage is currently just floating. That's fine. It's a shame there's nowhere really for it to cascade into that isn't, kind of reducing the amount of presence. But this is the life I've chosen. Let's grab a major. Do have 5 cards in hand, so I can. Oh god, loads of new majors I'm not so familiar with. That's gonna slow me down. What are other elements? I mean, this is just a wonderful fear vehicle, but the 0 range might be a problem. We didn't get a... Ooh, we can do this. Oh, this is also a card I am completely unfamiliar with. So we could make 2 powers fast and do some damage. And would that mean I get to do it twice? Or any 4 lands on the island skip an invader action by fear. Well, hold your horses. Is that actually something I can build towards? I've already got 2 other air powers, 3 other air powers. So I've instantly got the water, then sun and fire. Yeah, I think that's going to be hard this time, but maybe if I deliberately draft something. But then what can I make fast that's actually relevant? None of this stuff really. Oh no. I mean, just pumping the fear could be an approach with Manifest, and in time I could maybe get the threshold. I don't think Fragments of Yesteryear is going to be relevant, and I guess I could just grab this and not use it, and maybe on the reclaim I could grab a big slow major and go for a very big hit. We can handle the Cascade. Blight. We can defend there with Grasping Tide. So we will definitely still be in the game next turn. So I could grab this to use with another major next turn. Very much YOLO territory, but that's kind of where I think I'm kind of forced. I'm forced into that. I mean, it's even possible that by the time we've got the 5th player, I could get the threshold. But yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. It's a bit speculative, but that's fine. We'll hang on to the air stuff. We'll hang on to these things. So I think I'll get rid of maybe aquifers. I think maybe, yeah, I think aquifers. And so if the cascade's going to go into this sands, do I want to maintain sands for the reclaim? So I need to make a sacred site in there if I want to potentially use this next turn. I will quite possibly need to play it next turn for the sake of maybe getting the 4th air for this on some. No, that doesn't really work because I'd need 3 suns. I'd also need to find more sun than exists. Unless maybe I could get 2 sun for something else. Yeah, that said, I don't think that's a relevant consideration, but I think keeping a presence here is important. So I think I will make a sacred site here, and yeah, may as well. Do I want a renewing rain next turn? No. Oh, do I want to? Am I renewing rain this turn? I don't want to burn all this energy this turn. So actually, I think I will just undo that. I'll clean up a little bit of blight if I can. Jungle Sands blight. So the blight that's actually in that land. Let's make a super sacred site. Wow, it's so sacred. I just feel spiritually enriched now that I've gone to that place. I don't. If I'm going to play something absolutely cataclysmic next turn, I will need to have enough energy for this plus whatever it is. So I think. So I'm just not going to play this turn, and hopefully we survive. That's the dream. And so, how much actual eating have we got? We've just got a city, which we'll take from here to maximize fear output. And let's just reduce the risk from the event. Okay, for every 2 fear cards currently in the field, invaders do +1 damage, so it's only +1 total. Fine. Okay, add a beast adjacent to beast and destroy a Dahan somewhere. Okay, I guess sea monsters is a possible candidate for our Exalt. But yeah, that won't be enough. It needs to be something even bigger than sea monsters, really. So I suppose I'll just go with the principle of putting the beast in land. Okay, and here's a fear god. Defend 2 in all lands. Ooh, we might get lucky on this. Each player pushes up to 3 explorers or towns from a land not matching a build card. Unfortunately, the extra damage from the event is going to push this up, even if we empty these out. This is still going to cascade. But we nearly did it. We nearly did it. Yes. So we could prevent the city build here. I'm only eating a singular city this turn. So maybe... Yeah, I'm pretty sure that I've got that right. So there's +1 damage in the Ravage, yeah. So and this is going to be sands or mountains. So do I really want to push into here? Oh, I could push into this jungle here. So I'm not making these any worse. No, I'm still kind of making everything worse. I'm going to struggle to defend next turn. I mean, maybe this is actually a candidate for not pushing. Maybe. if it wasn't for this coastal lands being right here. I mean, we are going to be doing this next turn. Yeah, I think we don't push to the coast this time. And maybe push from this big built-up land into, say, here to try and just push the one. Just to try and keep London on the coast. I realised that I failed to keep London on the coast. Oh no. Okay, so that's defended. We have... Okay. Okay, that's fine. We cascade here. That's the only place that's not insta-death. And so we did maintain London on the coast. So I think we just keep it there. Right, so we do have a city drown. So we will do that. And we have some renewing rain, so that's jungle sand. So we can yoink the blight from here, which I think is the right pick, given there is a ravage there next turn. This double blight is also tempting if we get festering pits of blight. We are reclaiming next turn, and if I do play this, the 3 damage here actually will deal with this land, so I'm actually not too worried about this land. So yeah, I actually will take this double blight out, and as we're going to be doing 3 damage in here anyway, maybe I will boost it to 4 damage. Okay, so we have all the energy in the world, and it's all, I think, if it's all down to the what major power we get here. I think this is where the run lives or dies. I will probably unload it anyway, even if I lose in a very disappointing way. Ooh, fast land thrashes. Now you've got my attention. Fast jungle hungers. Oh god. Because normally if I kind of lose because of too many just bad plays, I tend not to upload those. I don't mind if I'm losing and I'm not playing terribly, but I often struggle to talk and play a game at the same time. Just do. Just do. Alright, so we've got problems. We've really got problems. Loads and loads of problems. Because we are not generating enough fear to just kind of rinse it that way. We have the build ravage in here. No adjacent beasts thinking about infest. Though, of course, we do have this whole angle, so we could be making the slow things fast, like jungle hungers, except there will still be a build ravage. But to defend is much easier. This isn't blighted though, so I'll probably but if I retreat from that land, I can't jungle hungers. Of course, this is limited to these lands here. Accelerated Rot is one of those cards that I don't think it's so rare that it's even remotely a worthwhile pick. And how is Land Thrashes looking? We can trivially easily get the threshold, so we'll be doing it twice fast if we use Exalt. And so it's... So for example here it would be 2, 3, 4, 5 damage. And we could use it though to clear out 2 of these lands in the fast, which addresses these, and then we could action skip in here. I wonder if there's actually an option that gets us Exalt. We need amounts of sun that we cannot achieve. Okay, so let's forget about that threshold right now. What about fast accelerated rot? Does that do anything for us? We can't get the threshold on it. It really doesn't do a lot for us. We can't use it in one of these 2 lands. But we will get this 3. This 3 damage here. I don't know if I'm going to get to do this twice as well. That's just something I don't know from not using it enough. I suppose if we generate enough fear cards, we might get some help with these coastal ravages. And just clearing the city and 2 towns in the fast with jungle hungers is pretty nice. And it gives me a nice excuse to use Gift of Power. We might be able to get towards this threshold, potentially. Skipping invader actions in Floorlands is, should be a game-winning kind of thing to be doing, though we will struggle to fund it long-term. And with this comboed with what exactly? I guess with maybe fast Ocean Breaks the Shore. However, we're on 5 plays. We can do Exile and we can play enough Earth Water cards to just fast double eat towns, but then this is still a 5 damage Ravage after the build. So maybe if we go Exalt, Tide, and then the remaining 3 cards have to be Earth cards, which could be Sleep, Gift, Shore, or Tidal Boon. So we get to do we'd actually be generating some fear, we'd be defending, and that's accounting for the build Ravage. This would do 3 in here, so we'd be generating a good amount of fear, which might help with this land. Though if I was to use Exile with very interesting. Okay, so if I was to go with these 2, then in order to get the fast city destruction or building destruction here, I would need to be picking an Earth power. So that narrows it down to an Infest or Land Thrashes. Infest does also deal with this, and there is adjacent beast and a beast in there, and the threshold is achievable with 1 more animal card, which we might get if we play Gift of Power. Land Thrashes is going to do how much? 5 damage in here, which will not address it. So I think it's Infest. And we want to lose... What do we want to lose? Probably... maybe Renewing Rain. I really don't know. If only this was as simple as politics. Jungle Sand remove. I'm also realizing that it's possible that some people will be so horrified by my politics that I will lose even more subscribers. But there we go. It's fine. I'll cope. I'm really just doing this for fun. I've got my own little sub goal of getting to 1,000. I think that'd be it's a fun little project to work on. It's a fun interlude in the strange life I lead. Flow Down River, I still think that has a role to play in this. Getting all Gandalf here. Renewing Rain, huh? Jungle Sands. I mean, there is plenty of blight in the jungle and sands. Is Sure Seas with Hatred really doing anything for us? I mean, it's probably going to be quite useful this turn. Yeah, we'll keep the blight clean up. Yeah, not sure there. And let's think about preserving presence where we need to. If we keep our sacred site here, then we could potentially be using Venomous in here. Oh, though we need to be eating in there. So, okay, hopefully I can figure this out. So we are fast. I think this is correct. Well, is it correct? I don't know if it's correct, but it's what I'm doing. So we've got fast mages for next turn. This turn doing this. I don't think I've ever played this card before. Wish me luck, chat. I can clean that up. We need all 3 of these Earth cards. What are we doing for pound ships? I'm just wondering if I need to. Yeah, let's just leave it at that. That's fine. Oh, I can also play an additional card. I hadn't quite realised that. Oh, crikey. Okay, so let's think about next turn a little bit more then. So I think playing Call here will actually generate a lot of extra fear and make these a lot safer down here. I think next turn we want to use Infest Sleep. So the extra moon here could be relevant, though I'm really drafting to try and get the 3rd animal when I use Gift. I will get another chance at that, though. Pool of Dips, the Deeps I like, because I think it will make these Ravages a little bit more comfortable. Okay, let's just do it. So I'm going to go Call. And I'm picking a land to do 3 damage, so that will be, we'll empty this land. And I can do it again? I can play another card? Oh, Pheasant. Just pretend Spirit Island fan. So I need to actually, I could squeeze this in. Is there a benefit to that? I mean, I don't want to reclaim next turn. That's the crucial thing. Do we need 3 air for either of these? No, we don't care about water. I suppose the water helps with this. This is just going to be another fear or maybe a useful blight move. Okay, I'll put that in as well. I get to do an additional 3 damage. So I guess we'll do it in here. And kill the town. Okay, so we can do this fast, which was the whole kind of plan. So yeah, I didn't quite realise that I was going to get to do this twice by playing it myself. The trouble with the reclaim is we need the sacred site to get up here. So unless this whole scheme is generating enough fear... Oh, I can also yoink this blight somewhere. Though I think, does that... Oh, I can never remember. If you just bring Bright, does that actually blight a land? Not sure. Really not sure. So we've already done Ocean Breaks the Shore fast. Oh, this happens twice. So I actually could do 4 of these fast, which is all of them. Are any of them ones I want to delay? Removing the blight, I think, is the crucial thing to do here. So I could just do that now. It's better to Tidal Boon slow. Gift of Power. I don't think it's going to influence my decisions now. So yeah, okay, we grab these. So we're just looking for one. Oh no, we can just do this fast. Oh, Pheasant. We'll just yoink you. In you go. Get in the sea. And guess we're renewing rain now as well. And there is a Build Ravage here, so we Grasping Tide there. Okay, this is interesting. I really like Spirit Island. It's wild. Wild to think. I think I'll delay the Gift of Power gain until I've seen what this is. Yeah, because I think you want as much information as possible, and I'll delay the Tidal Boon in case I get to eat a town. Yeah. Okay, so I'd completely forgotten about this. I could play 3 energy. I've only got 4 presents. And I have a lot of energy. Part of me wants to just make sure I've got enough energy to fast cast down if I need to, which would be 7 plus 9, 16. Okay, skipping Ravage somewhere. 1 damage per beast. We've got 3. I'm wondering whether it's worth doing damage on a town here rather than just taking the explore kill. There is a disease in here as well. Yeah, I'm gonna take a punt on getting a free extra fear, and I'll also take a punt in there too. Okay, defend 9 in all coastal lands. No builds on the coast. Okay. Each player adds a strife in land with Dahan. In every land with Dahan. With strife, 1 damage per Dahan. Okay, that's pretty amazing. Okay. So we will just take the kill there. We've got 1 card left. And then some bonus defend. Quite a lot of bonus defend. This is actually starts to be quite an interesting game. I mean, yeah, I kind of was thinking, oh, it's Ocean. I can kind of play them without having to think too hard. And that was kind of why I went with this. And it's also just a good game, right? But this actually has turned out really interesting. Let's see what I get. So what I was hoping for was the beast here. And because what that will enable is the damage on the Ravage, which means we might be able to snipe cities. There are currently 5 cities on the board. Doesn't sound quite so snipeable. So we do have 2 options there that give us the air. This is Sunfire, which is relevant. We didn't get given Sunfire air though. I think maybe this is unattainable. None of these are air. Do we have a total of 4 air cards? I mean, we've actually got loads of air cards. The trouble is that our existing air cards are not Sunfire kinds of air cards. Okay, yeah, let's not worry too much about that. Gift of Constancy is interesting, but we've done what we really need to do on our tracks. So, and obviously reclaiming, we're losing the range that we might want. And I've just realised we've got Ravaging to build here. So that means that the spiders are going to be doing good work in here, because they'll be preventing 2 actions, maybe 3 potentially if the Explore hits the mountain too. We've also got this build Ravage to just here. That is not really what we want. I mean, more beasts are terrible, so I think it's Territorial Strife. Just ignoring Gift of Constancy, though, that just feels terrible. And I've just done the classic. More beasts behind face. Yeah, I mean, we'll keep this. I think that's the... Oh, except I am playing... Wait. I am playing it this turn. This actually, Dark and Tanglewoods does address this build Ravage, which I actually am not addressing this turn. If I just play Infest Sleep. I'm actually mainly playing Sleep to Threshold Infest, actually. So I could just be playing Infest. I would get Threshold on more beasts, which kind of doesn't really do anything. The Strife, I actually could target one of these lands. Yeah, I think we're just spamming these out now. I think that's the turn, and we have a Tidal Boon that isn't going to push anything. Now the consideration is, do I reclaim? The issue with reclaiming is that then I cannot range and target this with the spiders, which will create a cascade from here to here, and it's a missed opportunity to get a really good spiders turn. So there's 4, 7, 10 health. It's possible that we actually clear that land on the Explore. And generate a whole load of fear, because I think I can't actually remember, it adds and gathers. So we're preventing 3 in there. I think that also means we've got another kind of source of fast fear. Weird to be playing this to kind of achieve nothing. I suppose we could use it in here to just make sure that build Ravage does nothing. That's fine. Okay. So we have to go with this option here, and we've got a total of 10 cards. Which actually means I could grab another major. We've already satisfied the threshold for spiders. We'll have 14 energy left, but we have to actually start thinking about conserving energy now, because our drowning days are largely over, as far as I can tell. We actually could be making a couple of sacred sites here, and if we make a sacred site in this jungle, then we can actually target here with spiders potentially. A minor power we can just slip in. We've already got expensive stuff going on, but we don't have a big smashy major, so it does make me think we could just maybe look for a big smashy major. And we can just, and if, as long as it's not crazy expensive, what are we spending this turn? 17. When we reclaim, we'll have another 2. Sorry, 7. So we're spending 7. If we count for that, it's 5. So we have 16 left, which is enough to quite comfortably be playing Exile. We do get the extra card plays though, which also makes it easier to threshold this. And this 5 fear is very significant. Okay. I think I'm going to go with a minor power for that reason. And what I'm really looking for is cards with air and sun and fire. The air being the highest priority. That actually, with the extra card plays, maybe it's easier. Okay, so we've been offered 2 different air cards. This is Air Sun, which actually makes up for one of our weaker. We could get the 3rd Sun and an air off this. So this actually, having the Sun actually makes this threshold possible. So I think Call to Isolation is the one. And this is actually just a really good card. I forget I moved my head. I moved my face. It actually is a really good card for Ocean a lot of the time. It's not actually going to do a lot, though I guess we can use it to push. We could use it in a future turn to push the town out of here, and actually this is a straightforward Ravage at that point. Hazard Spread. I'm a big fan of Hazard Spread. We do have Infest, so that would mean we do have the adjacent beast, so we could put another beast in here. Infest doesn't push the beast afterwards, though. But this also means that we can have a whole cluster of beasts, and then we can make more beasts very easily. Crucially has the air, but it doesn't have the sun. But we are playing 2 extra cards. We've already got Territorial Strife. Okay, so I think we have to take Call of Isolation from the point of view of thresholding Exalt, because that is very, very worthwhile. Any 4 lands don't even need targeting. Okay, so I think it's Call to Isolation then. Yeah, even if it doesn't do a whole hell of a lot this turn. And then we are thinking about Presence placement. I'm wondering about potentially having a planned withdrawal from this land here, so we can cascade into it if we need to. Obviously this turn that's just not happening because we are in this weird situation of using using Sleep here, Infest here. Yeah, so I think we can just make the 2 sacred sites, because there shouldn't be any cascade. So we are on a blighted island. We do have this annoying effect, which is costing us 3 energy. I mean, yeah, I am getting a bit worried about our energy levels, because next turn is going to be really expensive. And this is a blight next to somewhere. It's only destroying 1 presence, though. I could actually mutter. Okay, let's make the 2 sacred sites. Ooh, I get another presence. Yeah. I value having the sand presence as well. And we're not doing any drowning this turn, so this is okay. Let's just put these out. So we should have Threshold on spiders, and we have Territorial Strife. Interesting. Okay, so yeah, I kind of feel A little bit sad about not having another beast for this infest, but I still think this is the right pick. So we'll grab beast in there. I guess we would have had one more fear at this point. Oh god, that could actually be relevant. But I think the extra fear from here in the fast phase is huge. Okay, and then we have Build Ravage in the mountain here. Move you. Call to isolation. We could push this explorer. Does that really make any difference to anything? There's 712 damage. I mean, let's just push the explorer into this land where probably it'll get killed by spiders. Or possibly it'll get killed by spiders. Okay. So now it's destroying a presence time. Can I lose my ocean presence? We need to hang on to our energy just to play the sheer volume of minor powers to get this threshold here. But we kind of think we're doing alright. And we don't have a convenient place to put Blight. That's be here maybe. Wait a second. That is a convenient place to put Blight. I've still got Renewing Rain. I can clean that up. I don't have that many presents. There's lots of horrible events. And this is in with Dahan. They might just clean it up anyway. Yeah, I think so. And we've got plenty of action denial as well. Lands with buildings only takes 1 damage to add Blight. Doesn't matter. Push 2 explorers or a town from a land with beasts. I think we leave them in there. And some defend with Dahan. Choose a land with those things. Remove an invader there or skip the next build action. So I definitely... Hey, wait, how does that interact with this? After this power causes invaders to skip. So yeah, I don't want to pick in here. We could skip this build action though. Or just... let's skip this build action rather than removing the invader. That means that in the Ravage next turn, this land should take care of itself. And we'll get the fear from that. Okay, and then we have the Mountain Ravages. So this is the Spider Ravage, so we'll skip it. And we'll be doing 4 damage. So although this is strifed, you want to maximize fear. And then they're going to... May as well do the good news first. We'll skip the build. Kill town. And we got the Mountain Explorer. Okay, so that's going to clear this land as well. Wow. Good job, spiders. Okay, so next time we have Build Ravage here. We have Build Ravage here. How are we doing on fear? We are 12 away. Do we actually use Strife for anything directly? No, we don't. Okay, so Territorial Strife. There is a Ravage here as well. This Ravage is fine. We can leave that to go. Can't target in here anyway. So yeah, this is obviously the call. Oh, we could kill a town now. Generating another fear, which puts us at 11. And then when we're talking fast fear, I hope I can threshold this. So that's 5, 7, probably get our innate. So that's another 4, 11. So maybe I take the damage, actually. I take the damage. Yeah, and we're going to try and win in the fast phase. So we are reclaiming. We'll be reclaiming this presence. We have a power to gain. Let's just sanity check this. So we need the 4 air. Oh, wait a second. Is there an ordering issue here? Do I need this? I imagine this will happen before this happens. So I could give myself the elements to do this. I think that's, or if not the first time, then the second time. So in terms of powers, how much energy am I going to have? 7. I mean, assuming I'm playing this for fast fear, potentially. So 11. Maybe playing this to threshold this. So yeah, I think this is a minor power pick. And again, I suppose making sure we get this threshold air. So we didn't get sun, fire, air. This is great for the fear. These are both great for our fear innate, and I can even use it to yoink explorers into my face. And we're at Terra 3, so this isn't generating fear directly. It is cheaper though, and it could be a fast fear win next turn. I'm not going to overthink that. We'll keep the sacred site in the jungle because that reaches potentially into this land here. Okay, so playing this, I'm just going to click the cards with sun on and see where we are. So I need to play 2 more air cards. And what else? And a fire card. We don't have the 3rd fire card. Oh no. Okay, I'm going to have to rethink all this. I don't have the 3rd fire card. I feel like I should still be able to do this though. We have tripled up actions in the mountains, except if we prevent the ravage, that will generate no fear, no adjacent beasts. We can prevent 3 actions here, which again doesn't do anything beyond the initial 4 fast fear. So this is going to generate us 2 in the invader phase. They are going to build ravage in here, which is annoying. That might be a good sleep and never waken type deal. Yeah, ideal though. I mean, we probably, if we are preventing actions there, we should just use spiders and not worry about the threshold. We'll just take the initial 4 fear boost, and then we are a bit annoyed I've miscalculated there. I think we do have other fast fear options here though. We've got Grasping Tide, which defends this coastal land nicely, even with the build. And gives us, yeah, we can let that build ravage. It's going to build ravage build, which will give us something to destroy. And we actually don't have much coastal stuff to just drown fast either. We can make this. Oh no, this doesn't do fear now. It only does strife. What a funny game. Though we could fast eat this town though. I think pursuing the top track of Pound Ships to Splinters is good though. I feel like it's in here. Just need to figure it out. So 2 more water cards. This also does the fast 3 damage, which is more fear. Oh, I'm annoyed that I missed. I was missing a fire there. It's annoying. Okay, so we are currently short just the water. So as long as our 5th card is a water, or we can just play another one with Exalt, then we are fine. And Ocean. So, oh yeah, we also want it to be Water Earth. So that means we've got a fast City Drown. We could sub in. Oh, let's sub in a different, maybe Tidal Boon, and then that means we've got a fast Town Drown. So that's 2, 3, 7, 9, 11. Okay, sorry, 13. I think that does it. Oh, we've already got this fast damage here with Exaltation, except this generates energy. Oh, can I count? So 4, 6, 10. 4, 6, 10. And this actually... Are we there? Hmm. So 4, 6, 8, 12. Okay, I think it's done. God, I'm feeling hazy about this. Okay, let's just do it. So we will infest. Oh, there's no invaders in there. Oh, God. Well, it's a shambles. So in that case, who'd have thought you'd need to have invaders to scare them with spiders? So in that case, I need to rejig to use flow fast, I think. But then, actually, we must be over on pound ships. We've got one more moon that we need, loads more air than we need. So actually, I could lose call. I just kind of autopilot to using that. Okay, so we can push an invader into here, and so then you'll get scared. Okay, let's try again. So we are exalting. We also get more plays. Okay. All right. Right, pheasant. So there's no point doing this. Is there? Territorial Strife is also a fast sphere. Hey, wait a second. That's a town that it destroys. So we'll plonk that out. We will do the. I mean, we do have Tidal Boon, so I could just. Yeah, let's not worry about that. I think this is okay. All right, we have another play. So, and we currently need 10 fear. So that these two will combine to make 8, and then this is 2. Okay, so this doesn't matter. Let's just have Gift of Power for fun. We get to do 3 damage again. Okay, may as well just do this. We don't need the fast round. So we have Build Ravage here. Just want that fast fear as well. More fast fear. And then we finish with the cunning flow down river trick. We've all seen it. Okay, go in there. There's no, just to be clear, there are no spiders in there. Not even a single one. There you go. Well, that was a weird playthrough. Let me know what you thought of it. Thanks so much for watching. Yeah, something new, something different. It could be a complete train wreck, but that's life. Sometimes you're a train and you're just choo-chooing along, looking at the scenery. Sometimes you're a train and it's not going so well. And on that bombshell, I will love you and leave you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.